Thank you for inviting me to this important event today. I'm going to start my keynote speech here, and I'm going to do it in English. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is a true pleasure to be here with you, with all of you today. And to the many distinguished leaders who represent American companies operating in Korea, thank you. You're not just guests in our country. You are essential partners in our economy, our innovation, and our future. We're living in a time of extraordinary transformation. Technologies are like artificial intelligence, clean energy, next-generation semiconductors, and digital platforms are reshaping the global order. And the nations that lead in innovation will shape the future of prosperity and security. Korea fully intends to be one of those nations, but we know we cannot do it alone. We need partners who share our values and our vision. Partners like you, leaders who are already building, hiring, and investing here in Korea. What we now need to do is to make it easier, faster, and more predictable for you to grow here. Let me begin with a very clear commitment. Korea will be a business-friendly country without compromise. I know that many of you have faced challenges of operating in Korea. You've dealt with regulatory complexity, policy uncertainty, and frustrating delays. And yet, you've stayed. You've helped Korea create jobs, introduce best practices, and integrate into the global economy. For that, we are deeply grateful. But gratitude is not enough. It's time for reform. We will remove outdated regulations that serve no public good. We will end overregulation, rooted in the fear of unfamiliarity with new technology. And we will ensure that your operations in Korea are guided by predictable rules and transparent processes and fair treatment. We will not allow the pace of government to hold back the pace of innovation. And this isn't just about removing risks. It's about unlocking opportunities here in Korea. We want Korea to become a launchpad for global ideas, not just a market for global products. If your company can build an AI solution, a digital payment system, or a clean tech platform in San Jose or Austin, you should be able to build it in Seoul or Pangyo with the same freedom and the same support. To make that possible, we are redesigning our approaches to industrial policies. We are moving from top-down control to bottom-up innovation. That means faster approvals, more flexible labor and immigration policies, and better access to R&D, incentives, and infrastructure. It also means reaffirming one of our core values, freedom on the open internet. Korea believes in a digital space that is free, open, and global. We oppose protectionist data walls, digital censorship, and overreach in the name of security. We support ethical AI governance, open standards, and global data cooperation. In short, Korea will be a champion of digital freedom in a world that increasingly needs it. Now, I also want to address an issue that many of you have raised over the years, policy whiplash. The experience of sudden regulatory changes that disrupt long-term planning is real, it's damaging, and we are determined to end it. We are introducing institutional safeguards for policy stability, such as independent regulatory review boards, economic impact assessments for major laws, and dispute resolution mechanisms that protect foreign investors. When you make a long-term commitment to Korea, you deserve a government that keeps its word, not one that shifts with every headline. Let me also take a moment to acknowledge what is already working well, our deep cooperation in semiconductors and batteries. American and Korean companies have forged extraordinary partnerships in these sectors, and Korean firms have made substantial investments in the United States, from fabs in Texas and Arizona to battery plants in Georgia and Michigan. But true partnership must be mutual, I think. And we know that we now ask that American companies expand their investments here in Korea, especially in areas where the next wave of transformation is taking place. That includes digital infrastructure, particularly data centers, cloud facilities, and AI training hubs. Data is the oil of the modern economy, I think. And Korea is one of the best places in the world to refine it. We offer world-class connectivity and a highly educated workforce, and geopolitical stability, of course, and growing renewable energy capacity. We are also committed to removing regulatory hurdles that slow down digital infrastructure projects. If you're looking for the right place to build your next data center or digital innovation base in Asia, we want Korea to be your first choice, not your backup plan. You already know that this market, if you know your people, our institutions, and our strengths. So now we ask that you help us take the next step from a strong partner to strategic leader in global digital economy. Korea is ready, and our people are ready, and I believe this moment is ready. Because the 20th century was defined by physical infrastructure, by steel, oil, and highways. But the 21st century will be defined by digital infrastructure and by trust and by values. Let us make sure that the values we share, freedom, openness, and innovation, are embedded into the technologies and systems that shape tomorrow. Let us lead together, not just in commerce, but in principles. Let's build together not just factories, but the foundation for the next digital age. Thank you once again for everything you do here in Korea, and thank you for helping us build a better future together.
Thank you very much, candidate Lee Jun-seok, for sharing your inspiring vision for Korea as a digital hub.
Good afternoon. What a fantastic turnout today. So let me formally welcome all of you to AmCham's special dialogue with presidential candidate Lee Jun-seok of the Reform Party. It's a great pleasure for me to host him. It was just yesterday that we spent some time together, and I'm very glad he could show up today because his schedule is really, really tight. Just a few days ago, as a lot of you know, AmCham hosted the People Power Party's presidential candidate, Kim Moon-soo. And I think we all learned a lot about his vision and policies as it relates to especially U.S.-Korea dynamics. So I'm hopeful that we're going to learn a lot more about candidate Lee's philosophy and why he thinks he's a great, great candidate. I've had the privilege of knowing candidate Lee since his appointment as the leader of the People Power Party in 2021. His political acumen, exceptional intellect, and global perspective make him an invaluable asset to Korea. Plus, I think we all agree he has phenomenal communication skills. Today, Korea stands at a critical crossroad, facing complex political and economic challenges, both domestically and globally. The upcoming presidential election, less than 2 weeks away, is going to be very, very pivotal. Just last Friday, I was in Jeju to meet with the U.S. Trade Representative, Ambassador Jameson Greer. As we all know, he is a very, very important figure because of all the discussions underway. And at that meeting, I highlighted to Ambassador Greer that Korea is the #1 foreign direct investor in the United States. We also highlighted AmCham's efforts to minimize some of the barriers that make it difficult for U.S. companies to operate here in Korea. And as I discussed with candidate Lee, we've had several discussions the past 1 year. And he's been very, very gracious and open to us. We talked about AmCham's Business Environment Insight Report, which I'm sure you are aware of. It identifies 66 regulatory challenges across 12 industries, including pharma, digital economy, that limit market opportunities for U.S. companies. And I do believe that candidate Lee shares many of our concerns, and he has agreed in the meetings we've had to help us really reverse the course on some of those challenges. And also, don't forget our recent AmCham survey, which indicates that Korea is still the second most desirable country in Asia to set up a regional headquarters. And if you take a look at the numbers that I always talk about, 5,000 multinational companies headquartered in Singapore, 1,400 in Hong Kong, 900 in Shanghai, We have less than 100 in Korea for a great country like what we have. So we're hopeful that candidate Lee can also help improve that number, because I personally believe that the number goes from 100 multinational companies in Korea to 1,000. And that's what every candidate, I believe, should strive for. So looking ahead, Korea is preparing to host the APEC 2025 CEO Summit. And I hope that that venue would make it an ideal place to showcase Korea again. And again, I'm very thankful that we have candidate Lee here with us today. So without further delay, let me give him a proper introduction, because I really believe that he deserves this kind of an introduction. So candidate Lee is the official nominee of the Reform Party in Korea's 21st presidential election. He first entered politics as a member of the Executive Leadership Council of the Conservative Party, becoming the youngest person to serve on the council at age just 26. In June 2011, he made history when he was elected as the leader of the People Power Party, becoming the youngest individual to lead South Korea's main conservative party. Under his leadership, the party secured major victories in both the 2022 presidential and local elections. In January of 2024, candidate Lee founded the Reform Party, offering a bold, conservative alternative to Korean voters. And just a few months later, April 2024, he won a surprising and historic victory in the general election, becoming only the third party candidate to win a constituent seat, representing Hwasong in Gyeonggi province, defeating both the PPP and the Democratic Party. Candidate Lee's platform has focused on streamlining government and positioning Korea as a global tech leader through major investments in AI, science, and talent development. He studied in the U.S. He's a graduate of Harvard University, where he earned a bachelor's degree in both computer science and economics. And prior to his political career, he also led a nonprofit organization focused on providing educational support for underprivileged students. Now, at 40 years old, a year ago, he couldn't even run for this office. But now that he is officially legal of age, he is now the youngest presidential candidate in Korean history. And I think that he offers a fresh and a dynamic vision for Korea. I believe that he will be very good for U.S.-Korea relations. But I also want to let you know that AmCham is a non-political, non-partisan organization. So without further delay, let me ask candidate Lee Jun-suk to come on stage. Here make a statement, and then I'll do a fireside chat with him. And please have some questions. In fact, he's one of the only candidates that I've talked to who is willing, ready, and able to accept questions on a format like this. So he's got a lot of courage, okay? So let's see how much courage you have. Come on up.